Today we're back in Zumkit, Michigan, with a sovereign citizen facing a long list of charges. Everything from possession of a controlled substance to driving on a suspended license. He tries rolling out the old soft seat defense, but the judge is having none of it and shuts him down fast, refusing to re-argue issues that have already been ruled on. That completely throws him off. Let's get into it.
All right, we are on the record then in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Robert Joseph Mattson, file number 21-20513-FH. Today is the date set for an arraignment in this matter. We are proceeding today by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record, beginning with Ms. Meir for the people.
Phoebe Meir on behalf of the people.
James Daly on behalf of the defendant.
All right. And we do
I never asked for an attorney. I said I would be representing myself in appropriate persona. This is just one way to railroad me. That's all. Get me in your jurisdiction.
All right. Mr. Daly, maybe you or Ms. Meir, maybe you can fill me in on the status of the...
Yes, Your Honor. I remember now. We did have an exam in this matter, and Mr. Mattson did represent himself at the preliminary exam. And then Mr. Mattson, then once it was bound over, did fail to appear here in circuit court. So now that he is incarcerated, whereas before he was not, I guess if we just go through whether or not he wants an attorney or still wants to represent himself, since we have had an exam in this matter, once he makes his intentions known on the record, then we can proceed with him still being pro per. But I would like to go through and make sure he is knowingly making that decision.
All right.
I normally am.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Mattson, just let me sort this out a little bit. Mr. Daly, have you been appointed as standby, or what exactly is your status?
I was appointed as standby, Your Honor. Mr. Mattson and I, we get along fine. He's a pleasant individual to talk to, but he wants absolutely none of my legal input. Basically, he has a theory that I don't believe is justified under the laws of the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And I've indicated that to him.
All right.
Well, the judge clearly doesn't want any more of his so-called legal input, but let's see how he does when he keeps pushing his luck.
All right. We are back on the record then in the matter of people versus Robert Mattson. Sir, you are Robert Joseph Mattson, correct?
I am an attorney for the all caps name Robert Joseph Mattson. I am living flesh and blood, human. Upper and lowercase, Robert hyphen Joseph :space Mattson. That is my name.
All right.
As shown on my birth certificate, live birth, that would be me, as understood that the government has taken that name and made an all caps name and tried to be to claim an account over that name, which to do business with.
I'm honestly cringing for this guy right now. Just because you read something online or heard it from some sketchy source doesn't make it true. And blurting out this nonsense in court only makes you look clueless.
All right. Sir, do you understand that you have a right to be represented by an attorney in this matter?
I do understand that.
You also understand that if you want an attorney and you can't afford one, that you can tell me that and I would appoint one for you at public expense.
UCC 1-308, all rights reserved. By me answering and speaking to you at this time doesn't mean that I'm in any way being given any kind of authority over my body to you at this time.
Okay,
Your Honor,
I will note, sir, your objection to my jurisdiction over you, and I will preserve that for the record. As
Your Honor,
discussed in your hearing on Monday, it is my position that this court does have jurisdiction over you, and I am going to proceed as such. And
yes, sir.
again, your objection is preserved for the record, and if you would like to file an appeal, if that becomes necessary at a later date, you'll have the ability to do that.
Actually, I think I can do something a little quicker. I like to exercise my rights of subrogation, have the prosecutor file my right to subrogation, or certify my right to subrogation at this time. It's an undeniable right. Subrogation is the removal of a third party. It's in the laws, Black Laws Dictionary, 6th edition. Also the Boofier Law Dictionary, 2nd edition. That the removal of third party would be the prosecutor in this case.
Of course, he'd love to have the prosecutor removed, but that's not how this works. Subrogation is a civil law concept, something insurance companies use to recover money, not a criminal defense. Even Harvey Denson toyed with this idea years ago until it was explained to him how ridiculous it is in a criminal case.
All right. I'll note that request for the record and find that there is no right to subrogation in a criminal matter, and so I'm going to deny that request. Again, your objection will be noted for the record, and if you feel you need to appeal that decision at a later date, you will have the ability to do that. You understand, sir? You understand, sir? Sir, please let me speak. Do you understand, as I asked earlier, that if you can't afford an attorney and you want one, that the court would appoint one for you at public expense?
Do not want one. Thank you.
Okay.
This is going to be a long, painful slog for him. I'm not a lawyer, but even I know that real cases require real work. You don't just show up on court day and start spewing pseudo-legal garbage.
I am not a U.S. citizen. I am sovereign. Separated myself from the U.S. government back in 2018.
We've covered that objection, Mr. Mattson, and I've ruled on it. Again, it's preserved for the record, and you can appeal it to the Michigan Court of Appeals if you would like to do that.
Well, definitely. It's fraud. American jurisprudence guaranteed fraud.
Yes, it is.
I studied it up and down. I know it all too well. So it will go to the Supreme Court. I promise you.
Okay.
So now, with no understanding of even the basics of law, he's talking about taking this all the way to the Supreme Court. We've heard this song before, and it always ends the same way, with these guys crashing and burning at the very first hurdle.
As of right now, for the record, and let the record reflect any objections or denials that you keep denying me, that I'm asking you to file a 1090, an OID 1099 for the prosecutor, because the prosecutor is using my name to do business, and I will prepare the 1096 and the 1099A. So this court proceeding is going to go on and have a jury trial. There's going to be sovereign people, secure party creditors at my status, and also you're going to be filing that OID 1099 for the prosecutor.
Wait, he wants sovereign citizens as jurors. You do realize you don't get to pick your own jury, right? That's like letting the mafia sit on the jury for one of their own trials. It's beyond stupid.
Right, sir, do you understand that you've been charged with possession of a controlled substance in this case, and that the maximum penalty for that offense, Sir, I'm going to ask you to let me finish when I'm speaking. I've done the same for you, and I'd ask you to do the same for me.
Your Honor. Yes, sir.
You understand that you've been charged in this case with possession of a controlled substance, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic of less than 25 grams, that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison.
I do not understand the nature and the cause of the crime.
Yeah, you definitely need a lawyer, but at the same time, you are too dumb to realise it.
All right, I'm advising you at this point that you have been charged with possession of a controlled substance, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic of less than 25 grams, and that the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 4 years in prison. I'm also advising you that you've been charged with operating on a suspended license. A license has been suspended, revoked, or denied, that there is a second offense notice with that, and therefore the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 1 year in jail and or a $1,000 fine. I'm also advising you that you have been charged in this case with alcohol, open container in a vehicle, and the maximum penalty for that offense is up to 90 days in jail. This also carries a habitual offender second offense notice, which increases the potential penalty to 1.5 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense. As I've indicated, you do have the opportunity to consult with a lawyer if you wanted one, and if you can't afford one, I would appoint one for you at public expense.
Yeah, he desperately needs a lawyer, but he's far too dumb to realize it.
Mr. Manson, or sir, I believe you've referenced this already, but do you have any training in the law?
Yes, I do.
Would you tell me just a little bit what that training is?
Common law.
Okay, and have you studied that yourself?
Yes, I have, along with a couple other people.
And when he says he's studied the law, we all know what that really means. He's been browsing sovereign citizen websites and probably dropped a small fortune on one of those scam packages. Judging by the language, it sounds a lot like Mark Stevens. I could be wrong, but it sure fits the pattern.
Okay, you understand that the law in this case consists of criminal statutes that you're alleged to violate, the Michigan Court Rules of Criminal Procedure, Michigan Court Rules on Evidence, and any number of decisions from the Michigan Supreme Court and Court of Appeals which interpret those statutes and rules.
I understand that the Michigan Supreme Court offers 2 different types of courts. Common law court and a tribunal military maritime court, which this court is operating under, and they're not operating properly.
He says it'll be fine, but will it still be fine when she chews him up and spits him out? I'm not much of a betting man, but I definitely wouldn't put money on his chances.
With me at this time.
All right, you understand that the prosecutor
Sorry, go ahead.
You understand that the prosecutor that's going to try this case has been to law school, has had significant education and a number of years of experience and training in the law.
And that's perfectly fine.
He clearly has no idea what the judge is even talking about, because if he did, he wouldn't be repeating the same tired, long-debunked sovereign citizen nonsense.
All right, do you understand that if you do represent yourself, you're going to be required to follow the Michigan Court Rules and the Rules of Evidence?
I'm going to be operating under common law laws, which that's what I should be under as common law. If this is not a common law court, I don't belong here.
All right, you understand that I know you've made that objection and then made it several times, but but I'm going to conduct a trial on this matter that's going to require you to follow the Michigan court rules and the Michigan rules of evidence. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
This is getting genuinely painful to watch.
And you understand that those rules are going to determine whether you can do things like ask certain questions of witnesses, admit documents, photographs, or any other evidence that you might have.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you're going to be responsible for the jury selection process, and that's also governed by court rules, which determine when you can appropriately challenge a witness.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that in order to become a licensed attorney to practice in Michigan, it typically requires at least 3 years of law school and passing a bar exam to show that you have a sufficient knowledge to work as an attorney?
Not a part of the state of Michigan. I am the Republic of Michigan, Michigan Republic.
Okay, do you understand that in order, if you wanted to have a license to practice law in Michigan, you would need to go to law school and pass the bar exam?
No, incorrect.
And there it is. You can hear his confidence starting to fade. Reality is setting in, and he's finally realizing just how overwhelming this all sounds.